Question 5 asks, what happens if the market price drops to $2.50? So when the entire market supply interacted with the entire market demand leads to a market price of $2.50. So here we have $2.50. All right, so to see how our individual producer is going to react in this situation, we need to determine whether or not they're making positive profits, and if they're making negative profits, how negative are they? If they are just slightly negative, then they might actually stay open in the short run, but if they are extremely negative, that is if the price is below the average variable cost, then they're going to shut down immediately. So again, we start by drawing our marginal cost curve, and then our producer is going to decide what profit maximizing level of output to produce by setting this market price, taking that as given, and setting that equal to marginal cost. So on the graph that happens here, we'll call it Q star. And when we look at our table of numbers from our handout, we see that marginal cost is $2.50 when the producer is making 55 units. That is when the total product, or little q, is equal to 55 units. All right, so now the next question is, does this result in positive profits, zero profits, or negative profits? So I'm going to start by drawing the average total cost curve, which starts out high, gets lower, hits its minimum right here when it crosses the marginal cost line, and then goes up again. So there's average total cost. And the way we've drawn it here, you see that at a production level of 55 units, the average total cost is higher than the price of $2.50. And in our table, we can see that average total cost at a production level of 55 is equal to $3.27. Okay, so clearly we're making negative profits because the cost of producing each of those 55 units is greater than the revenue or the market price received by the firm for each of those 55 units they sell. Okay, so the question is, though, how negative are the profits? So right now, the profits are equal to 55 units times the difference between the market price, $2.50, and the average total cost. So that gives us a profit of negative $42.35 if we want to be exact. All right. Now, to decide whether this producer should shut down immediately or sort of wait things out, we need to also draw in our average variable cost line. So the average variable cost starts out even with marginal cost, and then it goes down until it bottoms out right here where it crosses marginal cost, and then it starts increasing again, increasing. There's our average variable cost. And at a quantity produced of 55 units, the average variable cost, AVC, is going to be equal to $2.18. So what we see is that the market price, although too low to cover all of the cost, is high enough to cover all of the variable costs. So everything from down here to here is the variable cost, what the producer is paying their workers. And then everything between the yellow line and the blue line, that's the fixed cost. And we see that with a market price of $2.50, the producer can cover some of that fixed cost, but not this last remaining bit. So of course they're making a negative profit, but they're actually better off staying open in the short run, because if they just stopped producing, they would not cover any of their fixed cost, right? So to see that really clearly, if they shut down, so if they produced a quantity equal to 0, then the profit would be equal to negative 60, which is the opposite or negative of their fixed cost, as seen in the table. So their loss would be -60 if they shut down immediately. If they stay open in the short run, their loss is still there, but it's not as big of a loss, right? So over time, once we transition from the short run to the long run, this firm might decide to shut down. They can get rid of all their overhead, all their fixed costs. But if in between now and then, some other producers that are doing worse decide to shut down, we will see a decrease in the market supply as some of the producers go out of business. This will shift in the supply curve, which will increase the market price to something higher than $2.50. And at that point, we might see that our producer returns to profitability. So here, in this particular scenario, the price would be greater than average total cost, and they would be making a positive profit again.